What's going on, guys? So, I just had a first with my business, okay? So, uh, this person reached out to me uh, 2 days ago and asked me to come by and give them a quote um, for mowing their property that they haven't mowed all summer long. We're at the end of August, so I had a feeling it was going to be a headache, but, anyways. Um, but right off the bat, they said, "Oh, I tried contacting your phone number on your business signs and da 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 da," and it was going straight to voicemail. And then the service provider was saying that your phone's offline. You need to look into this. And I said, the service provider said that my phone was offline, and they were like, "Yeah, Verizon." And like I'm not gonna argue with a potential customer, you know. But I don't even have Verizon. I got US Cellular. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll look into it. So, anyways, I told them, "Are you comfortable with texting or emailing me?" They said I'm comfortable with texting, so I told them, just text me your address and your contact information. Therefore, I'll be able to stop by in the next couple of days, right? So they they butt dial me today, 2 days later, um, and I'm like, "Hello," and they're like, "Hello," and I'm like, "Who's this?" And they're like, "Is this Tristan with the mowing guy?" And I said, "With Silva Under Pressure, yeah." And "Oh, I butt dialed you, but when are you coming out to give me an estimate?" And I said, "Oh, well, I'm actually on my way home right now from a job, and I was planning on stopping by, in the next hour or so." Not even remembering this person because they never gave me their contact information. Um, the first time that we spoke 2 days prior. So, um, anyways, so I told them that I'd stop by in the next hour, and that's what I did. So I just got done the estimate over there, and when I pulled up, uh, they walked right up to me and was like, "Hi, nice to meet you." And I was like, "Nice to meet you too." And I was like, "So this is the property that you're looking to have mowed?" And they're like, "I got one important question to ask you." And I was like, "Okay." And they were like, "Did you see the sign out by the road?" And I said, "No, I didn't." "Oh, that sign is LGBTQ plus belong here." Okay. So my one question to you is do you accept that? Do you accept that? Because if you don't accept that, then we're not doing business and you can get off my property. And I said, uh yeah, no, I'm fine with all that. At the like I don't care what you identify as or what you support and what you don't support. You called me to give you a quote on a service at your property. That's it. Right? That there's no beliefs, there's no politics, there's no nothing. I don't care about none of that. Why? Why? Why do you got to bring that up? You know? I don't know you. I would never know that you're gay. Why'd you have to tell me that? Why'd you have to ask me that? I'm a I'm a business owner, a landscaper. I anyways, I told him, "Yeah, no, that's totally fine, like now as far as the lawn, goes. Uh so the lawn's not that big, maybe it's like an acre. But and they selectively mowed themselves. So there's still about a half acre to 3/4 of an acre that needs to be mowed. And it hasn't been mowed all summer long. And they're like, well, I don't want you to mow it until we get our first frost. And I was like, what? You're calling me now to come and give you a quote now for something that you don't want me to do until like a month or two from now? Okay. And then they're like, well, yeah, I'll call you back when the time comes. Well, first I need to know what your price is before I determine whether I'm going to hire you or not. And I said, okay, well, let's walk around and, tell me exactly what you want done. So they do that. And then I told them, I said, yeah, it'll probably be about $300, because the grass currently is about 3.5 feet tall. And there's like a half acre to 3/4 of an acre. And they were like, and I was like, is that high? Is that low? And they're like, oh no, that's very high. I was thinking like $150, maybe $200. And I said, okay, well, $300 is based off of right now. I don't know what it's going to be like in a month and a half when you call me. Like, we're in a drought right now, but what if all of a sudden we get fall rain and it grows another foot by then, And then on top of that, I explained this isn't going to be like an in and out in an hour type job. This is probably going to be a 2 to 3 hour job because it's going to be more than just a simple mowing. It's going to be probably a 2 or 3 time mowing. You got to mulch it all down to the level that you want it at. And then also I would be blowing it off into the woods, and then on top of that, not just the lawn, but I would be going up and down their driveway on both sides because it's just so overgrown. But anyways, I told them that's my price. You want me to come out and give you an estimate now for something that you want me to do in a month's time or a month and a half's time, and I was like, and you can think on it, and maybe you find a better company, go with them. But at the same time, in a month's time, if you think about it and you don't want to do it yourself with your push mower, they said they were going to do it with their push mower. I told them, just give me a call, and then I let into the cell phone thing, I gave them a couple of business cards. They see my numbers all over my shirt, on the back of my shirt, on the lettering on my truck, and on the business cards. So I said, yeah, the other day when you called, it was you, right, that said that you were having troubles getting my phone number or something like that. The service provider was saying that my phone was off or something. They were like, yeah, and I was like, oh well, I don't have Verizon. I have US Cellular. So maybe you were calling the wrong number. So they pull out their phone and they're like, yeah, maybe. And then they look it up and they had like 4 digits wrong on my phone, on what they called. 4 digits. I mean, there's only 7 digits in the number outside the area code, and you got 4 of them wrong. So clearly it wasn't my fault, because I know my phone number is active. But anyways, I just thought that was ridiculous. And like, keep your personal stuff to yourself. Us landscape guys, we don't care. If you call us to give you a quote on something, let's just talk about that. We don't gotta talk about your personal stuff.